What's up, guys? This is Mike from secretsofthefed.com. I'm with Patrick McKnight. He's running for Congress here in New Jersey, and I guess we'll start off with Patrick. Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself?
I've lived in Somerset County, New Jersey, my whole life. My family's been here for 100 years. I graduated from Rutgers University, dual degrees, philosophy, sociology, highest honors. I taught high school social studies in Camden, New Jersey. Now I work as a landscaper. I work as an independent farmer on my family's farm. And I'm running for Congress because I want to restore the Constitution before it's too late.
Okay, and what got you into the libertarian movement and into politics in general?
You know, everyone has their own path to the Libertarian Party. And I think the stereotype is that libertarians are sort of an offshoot of the Republican Party, which could not be farther from the truth. You know, when I was growing up, I considered myself a liberal Democrat because I supported civil liberties and I was against the war. And at the time, that meant you were a liberal Democrat. But now, of course, even Democrats don't believe in those things anymore. And now the only party that stands up for civil rights and that stands up for a non-interventionist foreign policy is the Libertarian Party. And I believe firmly that 75% of people in this country, if not more, are libertarians. We are a libertarian nation. The founding fathers were libertarians. We just don't know it because we're not exposed to it, either on TV, in the press, and definitely not in the public education system.
Yeah, that's pretty funny because actually, when I got out of high school, and they make you sign up for the vote and then the draft and everything, I actually signed up as a Democrat, and now my views from them are completely different. Obviously, for me, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party seem to toe the same line, so I don't feel like there's much of a difference, at least with the Libertarians. They seem to have some real moral basis and actually live up to what they say, as opposed to a Democrat or Republican. Is that your feeling as well, or?
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. They both support invading every single country in the world, apparently. They both support reckless spending at a time that we have a $16 trillion debt that we cannot repay. And they think that's fine. And they're going to give us more of the same until there's no American middle class left, till there's absolutely no rule of law, till we have no rights. And if we keep voting for them, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Congress has a 10% reelection rate, which is historically low. I mean, that's just unbelievably, shamefully low, and yet they have a 50% reelection rate. So there's no one to blame for that but ourselves. We still have the ballot box in this country. Well, we don't have the ballot box. We have the computer with no paper trail, but theoretically we still have the power to vote and make our voices heard, and I suggest we use that power before any more of our rights and our liberties are taken away, because it's just accelerating.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you're voting for Republican or Democrat, you're just playing the game with them again, and that's what they want. That's the way they're going to be able to keep controlling that system. Now, you mentioned before the $16 trillion deficit. So I get it from a lot of people, but on the local level, what can people do? Because it appears to me that for a lot of people, this seems too big for them.
Yeah.
It's over their head. It's fantastical. What can you suggest to people on the local level, aside from voting for you, to get involved, to make things change, so that their kids, their grandkids, their great grandkids have a country that they can actually enjoy living in and prosper, by being truly free.
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I believe firmly that people need to, first of all, prepare themselves and their families and take care of themselves and their families, instead of constantly waiting for the government to do something for you to fix all your problems in life. See, that's the problem. That mindset is the problem. That's how we've gotten to where we are today. We need to solve our own problems. So you can invest, I'm not a financial advisor, but there's other asset classes you can invest in besides paper. You can invest in silver and gold. But on a political level, I believe firmly we're getting to the point, especially after this election, where just voting and just talking about these issues is not enough. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves and start a real civil disobedience campaign. And what I want to see is, this whole freedom movement is beautiful, and it's the best thing that's happened in this country for years. Well, we need to do more to reach out to people and to market ourselves better, because what's going on now, this is, to me, an extension of the civil rights movement. I mean, the civil rights movement was never completed. If you think that the goal of the movement was for everyone to have equal rights, well, obviously that hasn't happened. And the most important right that we lack is the right to sound money, to a currency that doesn't lose value the minute that we earn it. That's a right that's been deprived of all of us, and it doesn't have to do so much with race. It has to do with our rights as citizens. And we're all on the same team here. We all have the same interests, but we allow ourselves to be divided by these Republicans and Democrats, these red states and blue states, and it's all nonsense. The political discourse has been dumbed down to this cartoonish level where you can't even talk about the real issues anymore, and people are sick of it. People realize that if they're not being lied to, they're at best not being given the whole story, and they want an alternative, but they're afraid to break out of this Republican-Democrat paradigm. Well, we have no choice. I mean, if both parties represent interests that run counter to the American people's, then we as a people have a duty to support a third party, and the Libertarian Party is the third largest party, and we're the only party that wants to do anything about the Fed. You know, I think a lot of Republicans pay lip service to it now that they've seen the strength of the Ron Paul revolution, but they don't, you know, they're beholden to the same corporate interests as the Democrats are, and we need to unite Occupy Wall Street with the Tea Party because we have the same goals, which is taking our country back from the corporations that have hijacked it and taken our rights away. So the minute that we stop allowing ourselves to be divided, that's when we're unstoppable, because there's 300 million of us. There's only a few hundred people, 435 guys in Congress. There's no reason why we should be in this situation right now, except for we've allowed ourselves to be put here, and we just need to stand up for ourselves like human beings.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You talked about the mainstream media and their coverage of certain things, and a lot of times when I talk to people, they tell me they don't trust the political system, they don't trust the candidates, the mainstream candidates, the Republican, Democrat, and they don't trust the mainstream media.
Right.
So then I ask them, well, who are you voting for? And then they pick a mainstream candidate because it's the lesser two evils, and they believe that they're throwing away their vote if they voted for, like, let's say a Gary Johnson who's running for the Libertarian Party. And at the same token, I go, where'd you get your information on certain subjects like the Fed or, the bailouts or whatever it is? And the same answer, the mainstream media, which they tell me themselves they don't trust.
Right.
Now, how do you, when people come up to you, I'm sure they're saying, if I vote for a Libertarian, I'm throwing my vote away. How do you defend that?
I mean, that depends on what your definition of throwing your vote away is. If voting for someone you believe in is throwing your vote away, I wish a lot more people would do that. I mean, that's ridiculous to say that I'm going to vote for someone I believe in and represents my interests, and that's throwing my vote away. Well, the real definition of wasting your vote is voting for someone who doesn't represent you, has proven that, and is going to give you more of the same. Because that's just a recipe for disaster. You need to vote for someone you believe in. This isn't a high school popularity contest. The important thing isn't to be on the team that wins. The important thing is to be on the team that's right, and that's the Libertarian Party.
Well, thank you, Patrick. And I guess we'll wrap it up now. Why don't you tell people where they can contact you and check out all your views and information, and also check out McKnight for Congress's 10 Steps to Fix America. So just give them that information.
You can find my platform as well as all my other information on my website, McKnight2012.com. You can donate there. I have this plan. It's a nonpartisan plan to balance the budget and to restore our liberties. It's been getting a great reaction from people because people understand that they're real solutions. They're not talking points. You can also find more about me on my Facebook page, McKnight for Congress 2012. And you can email me at patrickmcknight2012@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Well, thank you, Patrick, and it was a pleasure talking to you. This is Mike from secretsofthefed.com.